Hi, everyone. It's Kylie K here in Kylie's Corner because it's literally a corner. I just love reiterating that because I think it's just so epic and iconic.
Agreed.
I'm in a corner. I'm here with Yiannah, and
Hi.
we're in conjunction with your soul wisdom. And look, Yiannah, I'm not as polished as you are as a host, so we're just going to wing this, okay? I haven't
Listen,
even.
I love no. Don't underestimate me. Don't underestimate yourself. I loved the first episode of Kylie's Corner. You were out, and I actually thought to myself, she could really do this hosting thing.
No, I cannot. Don't you dare put that on me. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well, so I haven't told you what I want to talk to you about, and we'll do parts, right? But I want to start this off by, can we just talk about motherhood in the spirituality space?
Yes. I
Like,
love that. Listen,
yeah,
I came prepared with my big hair today.
I do, and I took off my hoops because I'm ready to fight a witch in the parking lot all the time because PTA mums drive me crazy. But so to give a background, in case anyone doesn't know, Yiannah, you have Olivia, and she is 4, right?
Mhm.
And the world revolves around the love you have
Her.
for Olivia. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it is unmatched. I have 3 daughters, 12, 11, and 8, and I'm barely alive because we've got in perimenopause, and my husband leaves the house a lot because he has to, right? So I wanted to talk about this is like one of those secret favorite subjects of mine. So I'm going to start funny and then I'm going to get serious, okay? But with all the wisdom that you have learnt over your 40 years of, experiencing this lovely ball of dust, what is one thing that you show Olivia to practice daily or not practice daily? Or do you like let her marinate in the spiritual stuff and you just kind of haven't defined it yet? Like how do you approach that with her?
Okay. So it's funny because I've always had this conversation in my mind, like when is too early or what is too young for you to start talking about this stuff? And so I've always done the thing where she repeats the I am smart and I am brave and I am strong and I am loving and I am loved and I'm God's child and all that stuff. That is something we do like on the daily.
Love it.
Also, it's interesting because this morning, as we were walking to the car to go to school, she her dad kept trying to call her to say good morning. And she was like, I don't want to talk to you right now. So I said to her, Olivia, you have to be nice. You have to use your nice voice, use your nice words and say, Baba, can we talk later after school? Something to where like you're not sounding mean. And
Mhm.
she was just a little bit in the mood. And I said to her, Olivia, would you like it if I spoke to you that way? And she just started crying and she goes, no, I would not.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, if you wouldn't like it, you can't do it onto others. So it starts really simple like that. And it branches off into involving God in everything we do. And when I say God, I don't mean it in the religious sense. I mean it in a thank you, God, for this. And we say our prayers and, who made you so beautiful? And she'll be like, you, Baba, and God. Just I want that presence of source being like second nature to her,
Mhm.
even though she goes to a Greek Orthodox private school and then
Understood.
do the whole church thing.
Right. Right. I relate to that because my husband's Serbian Orthodox, and it is important for our kids to go to church to be immersed in the culture. It's not so much the service because the service is in Serbian, they don't understand it. But it's to be, let's be honest, I don't even know, what's going on half the time. And there's a lot of drinking that's partaken at our church. But
After service, everybody, after
after
service.
service, maybe beforehand, I don't judge people. Okay? But but the thing is that for us, it was important to be in the energy of it, right? To be in the energy of God, to feel like there is a home to come to at the end of the day if schools, giving you grief, or there's disharmony in your life, you at least have a second family in this environment, right?
Yeah.
Do I necessarily agree with it? No, I don't. But at the end of the day, we approach logic, and that kind of leads me into my next question. So I have my 12-year-old is the sassiest little queen you'll ever meet. Like, dry humor. She's like me on steroids, but she is rather mean about it. So we're also trying to smooth those edges down a little bit. I mean,
Sure.
you don't have to make people cry daily. You don't have to tell your truth in such a aggressive way, right? But you have had these experiences with Olivia where she has literally shared something very supernatural. Like, there was that story in the car where someone had passed, right? And it's like, what do you encourage her to have those conversations? Or are you like, you know what, I'll acknowledge it, but we're going back to the basics of God for a 4-year-old, and just leaving this alone for now?
Well, it's interesting because I also think about that a lot, and her brain can only understand so much. And
Mhm.
so I absolutely encourage it. Like the story you were referencing, we're in the car. I saw a bike that was painted on the side of the road, that which symbolized that a young girl, had passed away. She was probably hit by a car in that area. And in my mind, I was sending, love and all this stuff to that little spirit. And I remember saying, I hope you're okay. I hope you're with God, whatever. And Olivia in the back, as I'm saying this in my mind, goes, "Mama, she can hear you and she's okay." And I'm like, "Who?" And she goes, "The little girl." In that moment, I knew exactly who she was talking, what she was saying from the beginning. But I have found that if I keep asking questions, then it allows her to start seeking answers. And I go, okay, well, if she comes again, like I'm always trying to encourage it, because otherwise it gets shut down. And then I'm still trying to open up whatever gift I may have in very different capacities.
Mhm.
But when she says things like that, I absolutely acknowledge it. And I always make her feel, and I encourage her to say, okay, if you feel good, like as long as you're not scared, it's okay. Like, it's from God, it's light, it's all this stuff. But if you feel scared, just say, like, talk to God, and you'll be okay. Because I want her to understand the difference as well.
Right. And that is really important because, yes, I have a middle child. My 11-year-old is very, very sensitive, high anxiety. We bring in a lot of the spiritual stuff. She doesn't realize it, but we try to bring in, God's light, golden orbs. We try to calm her down that way. And it's led to a lot of question asking, like, why this, why that? And truth be told, my kids don't know any of this stuff. They know Mama is on a podcast and she helps people. And that is it. They're like, what is the sign now? And I'm like, that's my podcast name. They're so confused. But it's okay,
Right.
because we've got to take baby steps, because I've got a 12-year-old who was like, go buy me a Ouija board. And I'm like, hell no, we're not going down that road. And then I come back and she's like, oh, yeah, we had a seance and we did Bloody Mary and we did stiff as a border lie as a feather. And I'm like clutching my pearls going, you don't know what you're messing with. And she's like, oh,
I
what do
know.
you know? What do you know? And I'm like, you have no idea what I know, but I'm not going to share, because it's going to lead down a road of, I just don't feel ready to answer those questions.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
if Olivia came to you and said, I see my great grandma, do you sit there and go, oh, this is a clear vessel for me to pump information from? Like, what's Baba
Oh,
saying?
I would take out a notepad and a pen, and I'd be like, "What is she
Right.
saying, my love?
'Cause
What
that's a
is she
clear channel
saying?"
right there. Right. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be such a hard decision, whether like, channel Baba, where's the jewels, right? Versus, well, we've got to protect our space and this is a good opportunity, right?
Right. Right.
It's a
Well,
struggle for me.
here's the thing. Again, I'm at 4 years in the making here. Your kids are way older than
It's
Olivia,
true. It's true.
but Dave from our collective membership, He has a friend who wrote this series of books. And it's funny because he only mentioned something about the pyramids, but it's these children's books, and each one is different on spiritual gifts, all the different clairs and all of that. And the first book in the series is called, is something about the girl named Claire and how she connects to her guardian angels. And I think the premise of the story is that grandma helps her figure out how to tap into that connection. And it's written for a child. And so as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my God, because Olivia loves to read.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, this is a beautiful way to start throwing in, because, you know, sometimes we lack the words to properly express it to a child or how to give the instructions ourselves. But when you read it from other people's words, sometimes you're able to draw in things and children can like register in a way that maybe if they heard it from you, the parent, the drill sergeant.
Right.
My assumption is you're a little bit drill sergeant like I am.
A little bit, yeah. I don't know what
Yeah.
that impression, but yeah.
Yeah. Right. So
Yeah.
like hearing it from somebody else
Mhm.
can make a bigger impact sometimes. You know,
Right.
and you've got cartoon pictures and all this stuff. So I'm actually really excited. It's coming tonight and I'm excited to read it to her.
That's
But for
amazing.
me, I was like, what a beautiful way to start introducing that concept of connecting to her guardian angels from now.
Mhm. That's
So
amazing.
yeah, it's little things like that.
And I think that I know that Olivia's only 4, but I think you're at the perfect age for it because my, 12-year-old, I think was maybe 10 at the time, and was immersed with, the Bible, and was reading. We bought her a children's Bible.
Oh,
That
nice.
little girl argued every single point in the Bible. How can women obey men? Like what is this? What is this, And I'm like, "Well, how do you feel about it?" And she's like, "This is stupid." And I'm like, "Okay, okay. Well, why is it stupid?" And it led down a path, but then it solidified how she felt because she was triggered by certain things in the Bible, which is
Right.
hilarious to me because
Terrible.
that's so not my energy. Um, so we start with I think 4 and 5 is a great time to start. And I think that there is that borderline, like I don't want, and I'm sure I don't know how you feel about this, but how do you feel about your child going to school and be like, oh yeah, my mama does tarot. Oh, I don't know what the answer is, but I'm gonna go home. Mama's gonna do tarot, or mama talks to, great grandma, or like how do you feel about her exposing herself like that in school when everything is really in a box at that age?
You know, that's a great question. And I want her to feel comfortable doing it. The underlying thing that's going to deter whether it's a disaster or not is how she believes about what she believes about herself.
Beautiful.
Meaning, does she need other people's approval to have that self-esteem or that self-worth? Okay, if other people like me, then I'm good and I'm worthy. Then
Mhm.
the answer is, well, no, then you can't go and share something out of the box. And it's interesting because as we know this in my work too, in my soul contract work, we all have different frequencies playing out. We all have different belief systems, different judgments, different everything. And so it's interesting because with her, there's this beautiful energy of this expansion of love. But what comes with it is learning how to overcome people pleasing
Yes.
and seeking approval from other people. So the other day we were washing dishes and she wants to dry, she wants to take them from the sink that are clean and put them, to
Mhm.
dry. And there was a glass bowl. And I remember thinking to myself, that glass bowl, like the way it's like where it's at, I could easily see her knocking it over. And sure enough, minutes later, she accidentally knocks it over and
Mhm.
it shatters into a million pieces.
Ah,
And I knew right away, of course, my instinct was to go, oh my God. But I stopped myself because I didn't want her to think like, oh no. And she looks at me and she goes, she goes, I'm the worst kid. And she's
oh,
crying.
oh,
And I'm like, why would you say that? Then I get mad, right? Because I'm like, don't you ever say that again.
right.
Because I've never said that to her. Her dad has never said that to her. But that is something that she came with in this lifetime to work through.
Mhm.
Mama looks like she's going to be upset about this thing that I did. So I must just be so terrible.
Mhm.
And so until that gets worked out, I don't know if she can handle going to school and, telling her friends, Mama does X, Y, and Z, and them not understanding
Right.
and her feeling like, oh no, like I've done something wrong or I'm not good enough or I'm a misfit or whatever.
Mhm.
But then I also feel like, Kylie, we shouldn't underestimate children nowadays are way more enlightened and open than our generation is
It's
and the ones before us.
it's true.
So,
And I think it's also depending on your environment. Like, I know that you're surrounded by, I'm assuming that Olivia is gonna follow the orthodox educational path. Okay. Public school is very different. And for me, and that's why I made the choice. It wasn't because I'm ashamed. It was because we are in an extremely conservative area. And I saw the backlash from me in the beginning 10 years ago, and I didn't want that for them.
yeah.
So it was more of a not an ashamed, it was more of a protection thing. Probably did I go too far? Absolutely. In retrospect, I wish I could have done things a little differently. But at the same time, I am now realizing as I'm listening to you talk that there are things that I'm doing accidentally or, subconsciously that is informing them or at least having some part of their consciousness absorb that everything happens for a reason. Broken bowls means we got some good luck, we got rid of some bad juju, and it's all
Love
these
it.
little things that I'm realizing, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. And here's my last question for you. And then we'll go part two. But my last question is, have you come out to the mums at school about what you do?
Inadvertently,
Okay.
only because they insist on following me on social media. And so I'm private on Facebook. And then I have like a private Instagram, where I post pictures of Olivia and whatever, all my family's on there. They just insist. Like, if I deny it, they will re-request. So I was like, one day I was like, you know what?
Two fingers up. Go for it.
Absolutely. Because what are you telling the universe? The universe doesn't know which side of you to bring more of to you because you can't be that one version of you that is all these things, which is what you are. And so and it's interesting because one of the moms is always posts about everything about religion, everything, every day, religion, and this saint and that saint and all this stuff. And I remember when she requested me, I was like, okay, well, here we go. Here's the ultimate test. Is she going to be friendly with me still at school? After she sees our posts on the podcast and soul contracts and
Cloud fart,
literally,
things like
yeah, questioning, what is actual source and does source have a source?
that.
And you know what? She still is very friendly to me. So I'm like, okay. But I had to bite that bullet
Mhm.
because otherwise, what you doing yourself a huge disservice. And I will tell you this, Kylie. I bet you. I'm sorry. Tell me your older daughter's name again.
Mila.
Okay. Oh, I love that name. Okay. If Mila Sassy Pants, who, I'm going to do a seance and all that stuff, if her friends actually found out what you did, they would think that she's like the coolest thing ever. Your mom can read cards and can talk to spirit. They would like lose their mind.
Look, they do think I'm cool because I have tarot cards, and that's the extent of it. And I'm I'm willing to let her get a little bit older before I finally come out of the closet.
Got it. Okay. That's why. Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's because
Because
they just don't know.
I don't wanna have a seance at my house with a bunch of 12-year-olds. I could think of anything like a root canal be better, because could you imagine the response? Anyway, I'm not even gonna go down that road, but just say it's coming for me. I know it's coming for me.
Yeah.
Well, Yiannah, you popped the Yiannah Kylie corner cherry. Thank you. And I am so no, don't know what I'm doing. So shit will be down below. Can I just say that? Like link
Yeah.
to staff, collective, the podcast, whatever's coming up. Link
Yes.
below. Because I'm
All links below. Also, if you are going through this with your child, What's
Yeah.
it like for you? How does that feel? Are there more topics on that that you would actually like to see covered? And so you can leave that in the comments below. And also don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all that stuff because it is the best way to support us.
Oh my God. Can I just like slice that and just put that at the end of everything that I do? Okay.
Yes.
Well, thanks everyone. Tune in next time.
Bye.